Morning, YouTube. This is a big topic, so calls for a big cigar. This is a Tatuaje Fausto. I think it's Fausto. My buddy Uncle Willie gave me this cigar, and you probably heard the wind. Haven't had one in a while, and it's a really good one. So this video is, it's kind of a little controversial, I guess. I'm not sure exactly why. I'm just kind of stating facts. Other people have made similar videos. I'm just making a video because I'm seeing a lot of comments come in now from, and that's one cool thing about having a small knife channel. You can basically just say what you want. I don't have people coming in sending me knives all the time and getting free stuff all the time. I'll probably never have a big channel. I don't give a crap. So I'm gonna speak my mind and say what I want. And sorry, I'm liking the cigar. But just to put it out there real quick, I'm not trying to make this like a political topic. This is not gonna be like, there is some politics involved in this whole deal, but this has nothing to do with that. This is basically speaking of just knives and cost and why the costs are what they are. So anyways, let's jump into this. Had several comments recently talking about people, and people can buy what they want. First off, let me say this. There are knives that I buy from China I really like that are made in China. Other countries, I'm not even talking about that, because there's knife makers, like, I'll give you an example for starting off. All right, obviously I smoke pipes. Well, some of the best pipes, in my opinion, are made in, England. They're made in Italy. Savinelli makes great pipes. Peterson makes great pipes, out of Ireland. So, I'm not talking about companies that are like that are like, you have a company like Savinelli, for instance. They started up in the 1800s in Italy from the ground up, and they're still a family-owned company that makes pipes. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about here is companies, a lot of them being from the United States, they go make their products overseas just to save pennies. Not pennies, they're saving a lot of money, saving hundreds of dollars a lot of times. I need to get my ashtray over here, so I'm not reaching the whole time. But anyways, so that's what I'm talking about. It's the same thing with knife makers, like Giant Mouse. They make some beautiful knives out of Italy, and their prices are pretty much in line with USA pricing. But anyways, so let's get into this. Why is the pricing so much cheaper getting made in China as it is over here? There's a lot of different reasons for that, but the main reasons are, like, their government, like our government, and like I said, trying to make it too political, but our government kind of penalizes you for having a company over here in a business. Over there, if they're taking jobs from other countries and they're making the stuff in China, the government subsidizes them to do that. So they're actually able to do that because the government subsidizes them to do that. And another big reason, there's a reason a lot of people come here from Central America, Mexico, areas like that, because you've heard them talk all the time. You work with these people, they're making $50 a week, a whole week down there. We're up here, people are making 20, 30, sometimes $50 an hour, so that's an hour versus a whole week. So the dollar is different. The dollar is completely different in China than over here, and you have the government kickback and the government helping. So that's the two main reasons of why. All right, now let's get into pricing. All right, talk to some of these knife manufacturers that go over to China, or they're probably not going to admit this because they're not going to want to tell you how much their markup's going to be. So I've heard a lot of comments, and this is what it stems from. They're talking about basically Benchmade ripping U.S. customers off because of what they're pricing. They and some knives I can see maybe, but if you talk to people that run businesses, I'd have to sit down and look what their actual markup is. But I can guarantee you, I don't even know what their markup is, but it's a lot lower of a markup than what these Chinese made knife companies are getting. Like, I'll give you an example. The Benchmade bug out. they've been making fake bug outs now for 5 years, or however many years, 2-3 years, probably longer than that. You can go on wish.com, Alibaba, all these places. I'm not exaggerating about this. You can go in there right now. You can look. I just looked before this video. You can get knives for $5-6 that are cloned bug outs. $5-6. I'm not exaggerating. And think about it. I posted a video the other day, a knife video, and these weren't bad knives. Honestly, like they're not like they used to be 10 years ago. These Chinese-made knives, you're getting knives for $2-3 a piece at Walmart. Like the sale price, the normal price is $5-6. So they're getting knives made for that. All right. So let's talk about as far as the quality goes. The quality is a lot better now in China. These companies have gone over there, showed them what they're doing. We're selling them machines. They're making their own machinery now, how to make the knives like we make them, different things like that. They're actually stealing the ideas. They're stealing the things. Not all of them do that. I'm not saying that's why they're good. But like, say for instance, like Kaiser. A lot of people like Kaiser. They make good quality knives. They make really good quality knives. There's a reason they can sell them so cheap. Because like I said, for Benchmade, they're making a knife, say the bug out, they're selling it for what, 140 now, 150, whatever it is. It probably costs them 40-50 bucks to make that knife. So they're getting you have to have at least a certain amount of profit for you to have a business, to stay in business. Over there in China, they don't have to pay for, like over here, we have the EPA, we have the regulations, all that type of stuff. They don't have that over there. They don't have to pay for healthcare. They don't have to pay for none of that crap, which is one reason why the American manufacturing stuff costs so much. Look at prices now lately. The Chinese dollar still kind of stayed what it is. All of our stuff is pretty much doubled over the past couple years per se. They're still not getting hit with that. They're still having the same prices for stuff. But Kaiser, for instance, like one of their knives they have out now, it's called the Drop Bear. I think it's called the Drop Bear. Go look it up. It's basically a bug out. It looks just like a bug out. And they're selling it now. And they used to have really, really reasonable prices. Now they're starting to go up a little bit, but they're still a lot cheaper than you can buy a US made knife or get a US made knife for. So they're starting off about 120 and going up to like 220, depending on what kind of, different options you want and steels and all kinds of different stuff like that. So, all right, going back to that real quick. So say for instance, we're just talking about Benchmade, but everybody else is kind of the same. You have to have a certain amount of markup. So say, like I said, they're making that knife, and by the time they pay for their building, their healthcare, their employees, all that stuff over here, it's costing them, say $30, maybe $40 to make that knife. So they have to make about triple to sell that knife, what they're getting. But they have to sell it to a retailer too. That's another thing. So say they're probably selling it to a retailer for 120 bucks, and the retailer's making 20 bucks off of making that knife, or for selling that knife, something like that, whatever it is. Every place is a little different. What they're selling it for is a little different. So whatever it costs that they're selling it to these retailers for, they have to make about 3 times the amount to stay in business, pretty much. Okay. Think about that $5 thing. Okay, Kaiser, these knives they're selling for 120 bucks. It's probably costing them $12 to make these knives. And if you don't believe me, go look up some of these knives that they're selling on Amazon that are good quality for like 16 bucks, 20 bucks, 25 bucks. You can still get knives on there that are pretty decent quality for that amount of money. There's one called something Tiger, Free Tiger, something like that. Neves Knives actually did a little video on it yesterday. Their knives go from $16 to $25. Now they're not top shelf knives, but they're decent knives, a mid-tier steel, stuff like that. This is one of my favorite Chinese knives. Actually, it's my favorite Chinese knife made. I don't have a lot of Chinese knives, I'm not gonna lie. It has to be something that really, really, sorry, I'm gonna put that here to the side for a second. That really, really intrigues me for me to buy a Chinese knife, and the price has to be there where I'm thinking I'm not getting gouged. Because some of these companies now, to me, in my opinion, like Bestech's one of them, I'm calling them out, they're selling these knives for the same amount, if not more, than American companies are selling these knives for, and it's costing them 1/10 to make them. So these knives that Kaiser and other companies were selling for, say, 120 starting price, $200, it's probably costing them about, $10, $12 to build that. So they're getting 10 times profit markup versus Benchmade and American companies getting 2-3 times profit markup, which is a normal thing they have to do to stay in business. But this knife right here, the Raccoon, and this is the updated version, and what they've done is, and what's great about this knife, not just the button lock, but what they've done is they've made the spring a little bit more tension, and they've hardened the steel on the button, so you don't get that little, you know, closing. And I'm sitting here doing that before, like it would close on you. I can tap it on something hard right now. It's not closing. So I've never had this knife close on me. And I like it so much, I have this, and I have it in black too. This knife was $59. Okay, if you've ever ordered a Vosteed knife, it comes in a nice case. It comes with little stickers. It comes with this little patches on it. All that stuff. They're selling this knife for $59, and they are making a killing on this knife. I mean, and I'm not bashing the company, Vosteed. They seem like a really good company. And a lot of these companies are good companies. I'm not saying they're not bad companies, but all I'm talking about is price here. So people are saying, I'm done with Benchmade, I'm done with all these different American companies because they're selling these knives for so much. And people are saying that they're getting ripped off by these American companies, but yet you're actually getting more ripped off by these China-made knife companies or these American companies that are getting knives made in China than you are by these 100% American-made companies. One of my favorite companies, and everybody knows this, is TRM, Three Rivers Manufacturing. They make a lot of stuff. They have the stuff to do that. They make stuff for other people. And that's kind of why they can't keep up production with their knives, I think, is because they're making so much stuff for other people. But they sell knives at a great price, in my opinion. Like you can get the Atom for about $205, $210. You can get the Neutron for just under $200. Great knife, don't get me wrong. Shadow's a little bit more, but it's a lot bigger of a knife. But this thing, man, oh my God. This is one of the best knives made. The action on this, I just love this knife. Hopefully I can get a couple more, honestly, or at least one more in different colors and stuff. I might get another one to try to dye, to be honest with you. But I love that knife. And I love supporting companies like that, you know? So, but you know, going back to the Vosteed thing, they're selling this knife for $59. And that's a pretty good price, in my opinion. I don't think we're getting ripped off of that because what it's costing them to build, they're probably getting a normal markup for this, you know, probably maybe 5 times markup. It's probably costing them, you know, 15, 20. But like I said, you're getting all that stuff for $59. A US company in no way can do that. So, you know, when you're saying that these US companies are ripping you off, you're actually getting, or US made knife companies are ripping you off, you're actually getting ripped off a lot more by buying these knives that are made in China, whether they're Chinese companies or US companies. It doesn't really matter. Not saying this knife particularly is a rip off, because I think $59 is a solid price for this. You know, I think it's a really good price for this knife, and they have other knives that are in line with about that. Now, there are some knives I've gotten that are Chinese knives, and yeah, you know, Civivi, I'll say that. They feel kind of like a $5 or $10 Walmart knife to me, what they're charging. So, you know, that's just my opinion. But this, the fit and finish, the way it works, the blade steel, stuff like that, it's worth $59. Some of these knives that they're selling for $60, to me are worth $10, you know. I got some knives coming in from Miguron. I ordered them over 2 weeks ago. Haven't seen them yet. They're coming from China. I got them to try them. They were under $50. We'll see how they are. You know, they're either going to feel like a knife like this, or they're going to feel like a cheap knife, you know. So, you know, you're getting, basically what I'm getting at is people are comparing apples to oranges. You know, if you're saying, oh, I'm buying these knives just because of the price, you're not going to buy American knives ever. Because there's no way that American knife companies are going to be able to manufacture knives for what these Chinese companies are making them for, or US companies that get them made in China. There's no way that's going to happen. Look at the chip shortage for the vehicles. You know, Ford had an issue. A couple other companies had issues from chip shortages. Do you know why that is? Because first off, we don't have the capability to manufacture the chips over here right now. And like I said, over there, you know, the precious metals that are used, different things that are used, we don't have the environmental, they don't have the environmental stuff over there to make the stuff like we do. So it costs us so much more to make them. If we made the chips in-house and stuff and made the different stuff in-house right now, you'd have to probably charge $2,000 or $3,000 more a vehicle just to get that stuff made in the United States, just to add that part of it onto it, you know. But that's why. And I've talked to, I'm kind of in the industry. I do purchasing, I'm sorry, for vehicles and stuff where I work at. So, and I've been in the auto industry my whole life. So I've been a mechanic my whole life. So I've talked to salesmen and different things. And So anyways, the people that we buy the vehicles from, they obviously, know the people at Ford and different things like that. We buy mostly Fords. That's why I'm asking the trucks we use. And, they're telling me this stuff, that's why that Ford hasn't started making their own chips yet, because all this stuff in China, it costs so much and we don't have the infrastructure to do it over here yet, really. And that's why they kind of have our feet to the fire. I mean, just look at electronics and stuff like that. Like electronics, like buying a TV. I mean, you can go to Walmart and get a TV on sale for $200. That's a big screen TV, you know what I mean? Over here, it would cost us, just to make it over here would cost us $500. So there's just no way that U.S. companies can compete for cost. But like I said, there's companies out there, Spyderco, love Spyderco, the U.S. line, TRM, the U.S. line. They make really good products and a really good price, in my opinion. I mean, when you're getting a PM2 still for $160 or whatever it is, that's a great knife. Like I said, the Neutron, the Atom, they're small batch knives, but they're still, around $200. And for what you're getting is great, in my opinion. And yeah, the titanium stuff and all that's more expensive, and I understand that, everything else. So, I know there's ProTech. I love ProTech. Yeah, their prices have gone up with everybody else's. I understand that. There's a couple other ones that I know I'm forgetting that I love. But the Hogue, there we go. Hogue, man. The Deca they make the newer style Deca for around what, $120, and the older style with the G10, the different scales and the more screws, whatever on it. Excuse me. That's around what, 145, something like that. There's basically a company, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, SMKW. But Hogue is making a knife for them, and they're charging $220 for that knife, where Hogue is making a knife that's better for themselves for $100 less, basically, almost. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't know what their markup is. So that, I ain't buying that knife. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not buying that knife, so I don't support that kind of stuff, but it is what it is. They're free to do what they want. Whether people are going to buy their knives, I don't know. I think they've already sold out in a lot of places, honestly, so people are buying them. But basically, what I do is, like, I just can't get excited a lot about a lot of these Chinese-made knives. That's why I don't buy a lot of them. I get excited for some reason about these U.S. companies that make great products and still make them for a decent price. They have to have a markup, I understand that. But, that's just my opinion on the matter. Talking about cost, you can talk to a couple guys out there. I know Lefty EDC, they have I don't remember the guy he's teamed up with to make this knife, but they're doing another drop today. They have a titanium knife with mid-grade steel, 14C steel. Really, really good. One of the best mid-grade steels in the market, if not the best right now. And with the coupon code, it's going to sell for $120 for a titanium knife with great, mid-grade steel for $120. And they ain't losing money doing that. They're making plenty of money. There's no way a U.S. company, in my opinion, can really do that, make a titanium knife and sell it for that, So, when you say, in the comments and stuff, I'm not, I'm done with Benchmade, I'm done with these other companies because they're ripping us off. That's what people say, I'm just saying. They're ripping us off. Well, like I said, they're getting maybe three times the markup, where these Chinese-made companies are getting 10 times, sometimes 20 times the markup. So who's really ripping you off? That's just my thoughts on it. And I'm not telling nobody to buy anything less. Like I said, I do buy some Chinese knives that I like, and knives from other countries too. But, I just can't get excited about a lot of them because I know how much we're getting ripped off, And like I said, it's the same way with the U.S. companies. Like that new little thin knife that Benchmade has out for $550. I ain't buying that knife. I mean, they probably have to sell it for that because of what they charged or what it cost to make it. But to me, that was kind of a dumb decision because I don't think a lot of people are going to buy a knife like that for that when you can get a freaking Hinderer for $425 and you can get, all these other top shelf great knives for $300. That's just my opinion on the matter. But anyways, let me know what your thoughts are, or if you've talked to anybody in the knife industry or know anybody in the knife industry, and ask them actually what it really costs to get this stuff made in China. And that's why they do it. It's because of cost. It's not because of anything else. So anyways, just my opinion. This is JC. Everybody have a good day and smoke a cigar if you got it.